Locked on and ready, Commander Hill.
Good luck out there.
You have to do a quest line called With Great Power, like this event called With Great Power, to unlock those.
Where is it?
I don't know. It just says it's, like, going on, like, here. Like, you have to find it. I don't know. It's just, I just know what it's called.
Should I leave this mission?
No, why don't we do this first and level it up? So what were you going to say to me before?
Oh, I was just going to say, like, the thing with this is it reminds me of Marvel Ultimate Alliance.
Yeah.
Where it's a team-based game, and you don't go into it expecting one person to steal the show or be the center stage or anything. It just kind of depends on who you pick, and there's a general story around that, which they play into.
Doesn't Kamala Khan take, like, the center stage, though, throughout the whole story of this game?
Not the whole story, but I would say, like, the first half of the story mode, yeah. But I'm saying, like, in terms of this game, that's what I was expecting from him.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to say.
That makes sense.
But, I don't know. Maybe I'm just easily impressed or something.
Obviously. How dare you?
Well, I'm clearly the only person who does not outright hate this game at this point.
I think it's cool. I think it looks really fun. And I really liked playing as Thor for a little while. I like his moves a whole lot. And I like the things he says. And I like his powers, and I like fighting people. And I kind of, like, I want an entire, like, story mode dedicated to him, but I think that's just because I'm biased.
I mean, he's a cool character. I actually liked his part in the story in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who voiced him did a good job.
Yes, he did a wonderful job. I love him.
I'm honestly just kind of torn on the voice cast for this game in general. Like, it's nothing against those people who voice them, but I just don't think a lot of them fit, whether it be...
They kind of seem hit or miss. I thought Black Widow's voice sounded good.
Black Widow's does, but I don't think Tony's does. Steve's does, Bruce's does, but I don't think Spider-Man's does.
No. Captain America sounded a little bit too deep voiced to me at first, though.
Yeah,
but he's fine.
I like his voice, but I don't think he's, like, fantastic or anything. But, I don't know. It's just... There's a lot of stuff in this game that I think is a little off-putting, but at the same time, you know, the voicing in Marvel Ultimate Alliance, like I was going to say, was also not the best. And so if the gameplay is fun around that, I can still sort of, I guess, ignore it, or at least push through it and not care as much.
They should have gotten Rhys Crevens.
Well, Rhys Crevens is too busy on Twitter.
That's true. Being very,
Political?
Yes, and, trying to get people to like him for his political views for some reason.
I really don't think he believes the things he says, because he also has, like, guard that pussy on his phone as a meme.
Yeah, I think he's just trying to get people to, like, not cancel him.
Maybe. Press square while sprinting to perform an overhead kick that deals stun damage, and then we have one more here. I want to do, what's the ranged? Upgraded web cartridges, increase the max capacity by 10. Heavy sprint attack, press triangle while sprinting to launch over. Press square after dodging or evading to perform a low spinning kick. That would be good.
Mm.
I did hit level 3, actually.
Yay!
He sure runs slow if you just run on the ground. Look at this. If you just do a normal pace.
Wow, why is he so slow?
I don't know.
Everyone else is faster than him.
Well, he can do this.
That's true.
He's really slow.
That's funny.
It's a brisk jog.
He was trying to keep his energy.
I understand.
He's pacing himself.
I feel the same way. Like when you pace yourself at the store.
Yes.
Even though Jill pacing herself is just walking super slow.
Except for when I see toys.
Yeah, then you're practically sprinting.
Well, maybe you should interest me more.
I'm sorry, clearly I don't. I don't even interest you enough to let me finish my sentences.
Yeah, you talk too slowly.
At least I don't talk too much.
You do. I'm kidding.
Oh, wait till they hear you.
I walk slowly because I have short legs.
I don't need excuses, I need results.
I am a tiny woman.
I'm sorry.
It's not all of us can be giants, okay?
Okay, well, we don't need to body shame people here.
Well, You know those giants in Skyrim that guard the mammoths?
Yeah, the ones that one-hit kill you if you're a low level and they knock you into the stratosphere.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised that you, like, don't have a mammoth, you know?
Wow, cool. Really nice to say. Appreciate that.
Because you're so tall, get it?
I'm surprised they were able to get the Blueberry Child from Willy Wonka to be in this Let's Play with me.
Hey!
For a sugar crash, people!
Yeah, well, I'm surprised that they were able to stretch you back to normal size with the taffy puller.
No, they used the taffy puller on my dick and it just got huge.
Sure it did, but it's thin, so it's not as fun.
Right. Well, it's not about the size, it's about how you use it. Unless you can brag about the size, then it's about the size. That's
No
what
way.
I always say.
If it's not girthy enough, it doesn't feel good.
Well, that's why you kind of like do this thing where you put your 2 fingers around it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, and then you just, you know.
That makes sense.
But then you're doing, so what you're doing is you're wearing a trench coat, and you're doing this, and when she asks, like, why are you wearing a trench coat, you say, well, I'm insecure because I lost my one arm in Vietnam. You clearly are too young to have fought in Vietnam at this point, but I think it's funny to go with that excuse. Especially if she has a surviving relative who is a member in the military, because stolen valor is hilarious. I've never heard of anything funnier than pretending you served our country when you didn't. But
I've never heard anything funnier either. I mean, that's top tier joke. Like, you can retire your comedy career now.
When I got my blood taken, well, anyway, so what I was gonna say was, let me finish this real quick. When you do this, you basically put your fingers from the arm she thinks you don't have in through the hole. And so she thinks it is really girthy, but it's not. You know
That makes sense.
You know what I'm
Did
getting
you
at
do
here?
that to me?
When I was getting my blood taken at the hospital, the woman said that I should do stand-up comedy.
She did?
Yeah, she thought I was really funny.
What jokes did you make to this poor woman?
Well, I was just joking around and I said, like, man, it must be hard to work here all day. You just get a bunch of losers like me who don't get attention at home. And they come in and make small talk with you.
Wow. What do you mean you don't get enough attention at home?
Well, I get yelled at and called stupid and fat, apparently.
All the time. Every single time I try to come up to you and give you a hug, you're like, I'm working, leave me alone.
Well, maybe do it when I'm not working.
You work 24/7.
I don't work 24/7.
You do.
Joe, look at how great I am at this game. I have not gotten hit once.
Wow, you are a god. Wait, why is your health a little bit low then?
I actually turned on a, handicap.
Oh,
Because I'm too good.
that makes sense. That makes sense. You needed to make it harder for your vastly superior skill.
You doing okay over there?
Yeah.
Having a little hard time talking?
No.
It's okay, you can admit it here. This is a safe space.
No.
That did it. Nice work.
Alright.
Jarvis exists in this universe, which means Vision does not. How does that make you feel?
I don't care.
It makes me sad.
I would have to vastly care about this universe more than I do to be really upset by that, I think.
Are they ever gonna put, like, Wanda and Vision into this, you think?
It is the biggest... Sorry, I have something in my throat. Really hurt. I was just gonna say it's the biggest missed opportunity, I think, that they didn't do that when those shows were coming out.
I know.
I never understood. Now,
I never understood why they did that, like, didn't do that either.
I'm not saying it would make this game way better or anything, but I think it would have been free marketing. Like, imagine if when WandaVision was coming out, they put in Wanda and Vision, or when Falcon and the Winter Soldier was coming out, they put in Bucky and Sam.
And everyone wants to play those characters. Like, do you know how badly I want to play as Wanda? Like, I would literally, like, sit on someone's face for that opportunity.
Well, lucky for you, I work at Square Enix.
If you can gain
Good.
control of AIM's network,
Do you also work at Blizzard?
I do. I have a very special hotel room.
Nice.
Mine's named after John Cena, though, so it's actually just a frame on the wall with nothing in it. Then when people say, like, oh, what's that? I said, oh, it's just a self-portrait of John Cena.
What? Why is he invisible?
Because you can't see him.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, you can't see me, John Cena.
That makes sense.
That was always... Did you not know that that was his thing in the WWE? Is
No, I knew that
"You
was
can't
his
see
thing.
me."
I knew the joke. It's just like,
You're
I
just
forgot
dumb.
about it.
Got it.
For some reason, I was thinking, like, what, is he wearing camouflage at first?
Oh, like that old joke from the 2000s?
Yeah, where everyone was like, oh, you're invisible.
I hated that.
I always thought it was funny.
It was not funny.
I used to wear camouflage pants sometimes to school and be like, I don't have any legs. That was cringy.
the more the better.
I used to wear the Emperor's new clothes to school.
Why?
Do you know what that means?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It's a show, right?
What? No.
Emperor's New Groove, Emperor's New Clothes.
The Emperor's New Groove is a movie. You never heard the parable of the Emperor's clothes?
No.
So there was an emperor, I believe it's a Chinese parable, or fable, but I could be wrong on that detail. But essentially there was an emperor who was visited by a tailor. He wanted to get a perfect looking outfit, okay? Because he wanted something that matched him and he wanted it to be kingly. But this emperor was very prideful and he never wanted to look stupid. He wanted people to believe he was really, really intelligent and perfect, essentially. Well, one day he's visited by a couple of, I would say, scam artists who pretend that they are tailors, and they say that they will build him this perfect set of clothes. So they start weaving the clothes in front of him and stuff, using a weaving wheel and the machines that you used to do it back then. Look, the details are not going to be perfect here, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
But it's invisible. Because they're not actually doing anything. Okay? They are pretending that they're making him an outfit, and they keep saying, like, the best thing about this outfit is fools can't see it. So they say that, like, if someone's stupid, they can't see the magical cloth that we use, and it'll be a good way for you to weed out stupid people from your kingdom and from your court and stuff.
That makes sense.
But he can't see it, so he believes them and thinks that he's a fool, and he pretends he can see it. But you're getting that there was no cloth, right?
Yeah.
Like, this was all a fucking scam.
Yeah.
And so he just says, like, oh, yes, it's so beautiful, and pretends that he can see it because he doesn't want them to know he's a fool, even though he wouldn't be for calling them out, because there was no...
So he really was a fool by acting like he could see it.
Yes, he was a fool for not calling them out on their bullshit, but he didn't want them to think he was stupid. So he went along with it, and in the end... He was
wearing nothing.
He's essentially paraded out naked into the street or whatever, and looks like a fool.
Yeah. So,
that's the parable of the Emperor's New Clothes.
That is actually really hilarious. That's a really fun story.
Yeah, it's like a classic story. Not that I expect you to know everything, but I just thought that was...
I like that.
Kind of one of those things like Tortoise and the Hare that a lot of people...
I'd like to buy a book of a lot of those old, like, fables and just read them, because I think they're fun. I really like little stories like that. Also, can you run up walls, like, at all? Or can he, like, so can he climb up them? Yeah, I guess he can climb them, but he can't run up them.
I guess he kind of can. I mean, we're doing this indoors. That kind of makes it hard to do.
Yeah, but, like, Spider-Man can usually, like, walk up walls and stuff.
No, I know, but I meant the game's a little janky.
That's true.
So I don't know if indoors would be the best place to test that or not.
Well, we can try it when we're outside.
If we're outside in, like, the city map, because there is a New York City map, I feel like it'd be easier to try that.
That's a good idea.
Oh, yeah. Also, by the way, we need to do the Great Power or Great Responsibility or whatever with Great Power quest line.
Yeah.
I don't know where that is yet. The only reason I picked this was just because I wanted to level Spider-Man up slightly.
Because you wanted to poop on Spider-Man?
Yeah, like I was just so aroused by fecal matter that
we all know how
there,
much
he ran on the wall. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
See, this game's better than Insomniac.
Okay.
Look, I just want a sponsorship, okay? You can pretend that you like the game and you can
think
pretend
Square
you don't
Enix
later.
is gonna sponsor you?
I don't think so.
After all you did to simp for Final Fantasy VII and they still haven't sponsored you, do you think they're going to for what you've said about Marvel's Avengers?
Probably not, but I also gave them the credit that I think that Tomb Raider is better than Uncharted.
Well, that's true. Square Enix is a great company. They make a lot of wonderful games. Like, Tomb Raider, especially the new ones, are some of my favorite games.
It's just a shame that this tarnished their reputation.
Well, I don't think it should have, to be honest. Like, this isn't a bad game. And I don't think it should have tarnished their reputation.
What I find funny is, like, the amount of a pass that some people are willing to give these companies. Like, Rockstar gets a fucking pass even though they've re-released Grand Theft Auto 5 like 30 times, and they did remasters of the classic trilogy, and it turned out that they were basically mobile phone games. I don't know if I told you about that, but people looked into it, and they were converted versions of the mobile phone versions of those games. That's one of the reasons why they have so many problems. So
that's ridiculous.
But Rockstar got a pass from a lot of people. People still buy their shark cards. People still throw money at them. You know, despite them clearly not caring right now at all about what they're doing. Like they just don't care. I don't know how else to put it.
But Rockstar's still a great company.
Yeah, well that's what I'm saying is they get that pass. Bethesda gets a pass for Fallout 76.
And all of the terrible glitches that Skyrim still has to this day, even though they keep trying to release shit for it.
And I think Fallout 76 is an okay game. Like, I don't think it's as bad as people act like, but I don't think it's very good. And so then you have these companies that are out here wasting their goodwill making stuff that nobody asked for, that doesn't turn out good. Or, yeah, Skyrim Anniversary, where, like, it literally crashes
every 2 seconds.
All the time.
Yeah. And then there was like that black screen for a whole week. You couldn't even play the game.
Yep, the game was broken for, I do believe you're right, it was a week.
Yeah, it took them like a week to fix that. And now, like, majority of the content club houses barely work. Like, you walk into them, either stuff is falling off the floors the moment you load in, I mean the shelves, or it goes, brrr, and then crashes.
Pretty much. Yeah, and that makes a weird, creepy noise.
Yeah, and then there's also the fact that, like, you can own, like, a horse or a reindeer, but you can't have it stay in your stables. It has to go back to where you previously purchased it if you sit on a different horse.
And they added almost no quality of life fixes. Like, they didn't let your companions go back to your houses.
Yeah.
They didn't let, unless it's, like, Lydia with, Breeze Home and Whiterun.
Yeah.
Yeah, they made so many mistakes. I don't get why these games continue to... Like, games like that, why are you even re-releasing it if you're not going to add in quality of life improvements?
Yeah.
We'll continue monitoring
And then,
AIM's
like,
facilities.
the only things that fix that are mods, but then they turn off the achievements, and I want the achievements. That's the problem.
Right, because you haven't played through that game on that profile.
So it's like, I might as well have just been playing it on PC on Steam.
Yeah, at that point, yeah. It's really frustrating. I mean, that's kind of an issue I have with this right now, is that I actually think this is fun, but I would think that with the amount of time that they've had to get this out there, that he shouldn't feel so floaty and...
that he should have a legit, like, story.
Of some kind. I mean, I go both ways on that, because I think if he was going to have a story, he should not be exclusive.
That's true.
Because wouldn't it be shitty to lock Xbox players out of a significant portion of the storyline of this game?
I think it's shitty to lock Xbox players out of anything.
Well, I
hate content exclusive stuff, because I've always been someone who really enjoyed Xbox, and Xbox doesn't get very many exclusives for whatever reason, even though they're a good company. You know, I really like Xbox, I really like PlayStation too, but I grew up, you know, only being able to have the Xbox because I was able to, like, buy my sisters off of her, you know? So, yeah, it's just near and dear to my heart, the Xbox system, and it makes me sad that, like, people kind of cut them out of a lot of stuff. It makes me feel bad for them. Like, I know they're a big company and they probably don't care, but it makes me feel like how I did in school when people would cut me out of stuff, you know?
No, I get it. I mean, I feel the same way about, I really do feel the same way with PlayStation, where I think that, you know, if your company made it, that makes sense. You know, like, so Halo, right? Owned by Microsoft. I understand why that's an exclusive.
Yeah.
Mario, owned by Nintendo. Those things make sense to me, but when it's like, hey, Xbox, here's a game, you have to pay $70 for it, or whatever, let's just say it's $70. PlayStation, here's a game, you have to pay $70 for it if you're on PlayStation, but you get more. To me, then the Xbox version should be cheaper.
Yeah.
Like, it should be $10 cheaper.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with PlayStation, where Xbox has more mods available, because on PlayStation, they control what's on their store way more heavily, and they don't allow player-created content much unless it's assets in the original game. That's just a PlayStation thing. It's a dumb thing. It's always been dumb. And... you know, with that stuff, though, when you're cutting people out of content, I think you should charge them less.
Yeah,
That's my
I
thing.
agree.
I
And
need-
it bothers me that, like, they're being unfair about it, making people pay the same price for less content.
Right, it should be less then. I need to figure out where this with great power is. So Spider-Man has evidence of chemical manifests being transported between AIM facilities in New York. He asked the Avengers for help in tracking down the manifests to identify the company working with AIM and the chemical agents. Mission features Spider-Man hero will be auto-selected. I feel like this was not a good way to implement him.
No, it's way too confusing. They should have had just, like, a button on the main menu that was like, try out Spider-Man's new missions. You know, and then you click on it. And it takes you to it. That is really lazy.
Well, and that's the thing. And they said
There are Inhumans
So,
caught in a standoff.
unspent skill points. One of my biggest issues with this is they straight up said, hey, we are, oh, that's a signature attack. Hold square while airborne.
Well, like, here's the thing. Why would I want to replay all these missions that, like, we already did? Well, like, I didn't do them, but, like, let's say I played the entire game. Why would I want to just redo these missions, but as Spider-Man? Like, I don't want to do that. Like, who cares? Like, I want new missions to play as Spider-Man. Like, if I'm gonna do that, I'll just play as one of my other favorite characters.
I mean, I like the option to play as Spider-Man, but I do think they should have added new missions.
Yeah, that's what I thought they did. I thought they, like, added at least, like, a new mission that might not have had, like, a story to it, but at least it was, like, new, you know? That you unlock stuff for him from.
That said, there are a lot of missions in the game.
Yeah, but, like, they all look this, like, very
No,
similar.
I know. I agree with you. I'm not trying to defend the game here. I'm also just trying to give it a little bit of credit.
I know, it's just, like, I really want to like this game, and I'm sure I'll like it enough, like, when I play it on my own. But, I just thought there would be more.
And their justification for it was, we wanted to focus on stuff that was on both consoles, so we focused on the raid more than adding a story for Spider-Man. And it's like, well then...
Why didn't you just put Spider-Man on both consoles then?
Right. That's my issue. Because Spider-Man, I get that, like, Sony's trying to pretend he's a first-party character. He's not. They did not invent Spider-Man. He's not a first-party video game character like Mario.
No, he just got sold to them, that's all.
Like, well, certain rights for him.
Yeah,
and
certain
not even
rights.
everything. And so it's like when they're acting like that, to me, it comes off,
Douchey.
yeah, very silly. I hate these, like,
So does Sony own PlayStation?
yeah.
Is that why they're, like, doing that?
Yeah.
That's silly.
I mean, yeah, that's...
Inhuman down.
I don't...
You must keep them
I
safe.
really don't like these, because his movement indoors is horrible.
Yeah, it looks really janky.
Like, I literally just have to start jumping
To get him to go fast.
to get him to go where I need him to go.
Well, his running's not fast enough.
Okay, so this guy is gonna get killed, because I can't get there in time, because his movements are so weird. Okay.
Did, you said Alex from Podcast Now played this for a while, right? Did he like it?
I didn't watch him.
Oh,
haven't had time.
did you ask him about it? Like, did he seem like he liked it at all?
I haven't had time to talk to him really today.
Well, we'll have to see what he said about it, because, I don't hate it.
Right. I mean, I think it's fun. This is what I expected, though. Like a fun distraction.
Well, I thought it would be at least he could move around better. You know, I thought it would be like I wasn't expecting much, but I was expecting more quality than dollar store, you know? Like, I was expecting to, like, walk into the Walmart toy section, not the dollar store toy section.
I don't think he's as bad as you're making him out to be as if you play as him.
That's probably true. Just the way he is, like, looking right now, like, when you're, like, moving around, just looks really janky.
Yeah, I get that. But to be fair, it's not like Thor moves around like the most elegant guy ever. Like, that's part of the
Excuse
game.
me? He is the most elegant man that there has ever been in the entire universe.
But
He
that's
is a
part of-
majestic man.
That's part of the game, though. It's like, it's just sadly a confine of this game that they made, which I disagree with, you know, their movement systems and stuff, but...
I just think they should have made him, like, be able to move around indoors a little better, that's all.
Oh, yeah, and I agree with you. It's just that I think people are being also, like, overly hard on something that's literally a free thing. Like, nobody paid for this.
No, I know. I'm not trying to be overly hard on it either. It's just, I I thought they could have done a little bit better, but it is free, so it's like, what was I asking for, you know? Like, I just wish I could have, like, I wish we could have just bought him. Like, I wish he was on both consoles, and I wish we could have bought him, and I wish I could have expected more and gotten more out of it. Because, like, to me, it's like, why did you even put him in if he's not going to be done well?
Right. No, I get it. All I was saying was I really do think people are being...
too hard on it?
Well, like,
yeah.
I don't know why people care at this point. Like,
I don't think they should.
Well, no. How do I say this? There is a line where you just accept mediocrity, and that's not great. Mm-hmm. But there's also a point where, like, if tomorrow on the Xbox store they give you a free demo and you play the demo and it's free and you don't pay any more money on it than that, it's just free. Well, instead of whining and bitching about how bad it is if the demo is bad, maybe you just say, like, this was not for me, I don't really like this, I think this could have been done a lot better. And then you go play something else. Like, it seems like a lot of people are really honing in on how much they did not have fun with this and how awful they think it is. But it's like, dude, this is basically just them tossing something to people with PlayStation. Like, we knew that
like giving a bone to people?
Yeah, we knew it would not be some super in-depth thing. Would I have done it differently? Yeah, I would have sold this on both. I would have had you know, costumes that are more unlockable and look better. I would have had him have more personality to his movesets and have him not as stiff. I would have done those things. I would have changed the voice actor. So it's like, I'm not sitting around trying to say, hey, this is amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really not. But I'm just saying, like, people seem overly invested in this. Especially because a lot of the same people who are like, I don't care about the Marvel's Avengers game. It's like, well, the game is old, you know? It's not super old, but it's like, this game has been out for a long time. You can't look at this game and say it didn't improve.
I think it still is a pretty good game.
Like,
it's just
why is this doing this?
Gosh, what was I gonna say? I was gonna say, you know, when you and Nate talked about, like, certain characters on Smash Bros. That just kind of feel like a waste of a slot. Well, I feel like the way they put Spider-Man into this game kind of felt like a waste of a slot for a superhero. Not because Spider-Man himself is bad, but because they didn't do him well. I feel like they had an opportunity to put Spider-Man into this game and do him really well and, like, make it really awesome. And they just kind of wasted that opportunity. And that's what is disappointing to me, because I don't like that it's free and I don't like that it's bare bones, and I really wish that, like, we could have had one of my favorite Marvel characters be done better in a game that I think is pretty enjoyable.
Right, but that said, I don't think he's any worse than anyone else. Like, playing as him, it's not worse than playing the game as Thor. It's just not. It might look like it is to you, but, like, it is the same general gameplay. Even though...
I just wish he would have had his own stuff, is what I mean.
Right.
And I wish, like, they would have given him better costumes and, like, made his animations a bit smoother and probably smoothed out his traversal.
Right. I think we generally agree. I think for me it's just, I have a hard time getting upset about something that they just tossed me that I was never expecting anything out of. Like, to say that I was expecting less than nothing from this because of some of my disappointment from the base game would be a generous understatement. You know what I mean? Like, I played the base game, it was fine. I played Kate Bishop, it was fine. Then I quit.
Yeah.
I didn't have an interest in playing more than that, because to me, those experiences were fine, but there were better superhero games and experiences to be had elsewhere that I would rather put my time into. So when this was coming out, the reason I wanted to check it out is basically just because I love Spider-Man, and I like, hey, you know, they're just giving this away, it's just a thing. I still think it's tacky for... It's just tacky to me in general to have version-specific exclusives. It always has been, and it always will be, but it's gonna be there that way, so I want to see if I like it. That's all it ever was to me, and I think a lot of people went into this like, oh, a new excuse to, like, shit all over this game. And it's like, to me, yes, I know that this might be ironic because I have made a partial career out of also calling things out in some ways, but more or the same amount of my videos are positive as they are negative, I would say, where it's like me just enjoying something.
Well, and I don't think you shouldn't enjoy this.
And for me, I just wanted to come into this and see, is this fun for me? You know, I've played Ultimate Alliance. I've played other games that Spider-Man's in where he's not done the absolute best, but he's still fun. And that's all I wanted out of this, really, I guess. And to me, that kind of seems like that's what this is so far. Just a fun little distraction thing. Like, hey, if you like Marvel's Avengers, here's Spider-Man to play around with. That's it.
I wish they would have done something like with this game to keep it alive and keep people happy by like doing the thing that Smash Bros kind of did by like adding in a new character every once in a while. You know, which I guess is what they did. But like I wish it would have just been like instead of a free thing, like a paid thing, and then give everyone like their own special missions sort of thing. And then it would have been something that kept the game going, like, you know, when WandaVision came out, like you said, like, have Wanda in the game, and then, like, have special WandaVision missions, and then, you know, this new Spider-Man movie's coming out, so they put Spider-Man in the game and have him have awesome Spider-Man missions. Like, I think that would have really made people like this game a lot more, and it's a shame that, you know, people don't like this game so much, because I don't think it deserves the hate, but it's also a shame that, the people who developed it didn't try a little bit harder on certain things to get people to enjoy it more.
I think Marvel's Avengers is like this is just me, because there's people who love the game, and that's cool. Like, I'm glad they do. I still have fun on it. I wouldn't put myself in that category, but I would say I'm probably more positive than a lot of people are about this game at this point.
Well, it's still a fun game.
Well, that's the thing, is like, why are you coming to this game? Like, not you, but anybody. Like, are you coming to it for cinematic storytelling that's like really good and to take place in a comic book? You're not going to get that. Are you? And look, I think you should have. I think you should have been able to get that too. So I'm not saying like, fuck off, accept mediocrity or whatever. I'm saying like, it depends on why you're coming here. If you're coming here for like a dedicated Spider-Man story experience, in-depth, really good mechanics, stuff like that, there are 10 video games you could play that are like that. There's the Raimi trilogy of Spider-Man games. At least the first two are very good.
I want to play those.
I like the third one on PS2. It's got its problems, but I still like it. I don't like the next-gen version of it. That's an unpopular opinion from me. But, you know, there's those. There's Web of Shadows. You know, there is Edge of Time. There's Shattered Dimensions. There's the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game. Really good, actually. Like, a pretty fun game. It's an Arkham clone in a lot of ways, but it's fun. You know, so, like, to me, I'm not saying, you know, I don't know if what I'm saying is making sense.
It makes sense.
And I'm not even trying to say it like, hey, if Halo Infinite comes out and it's bad, well, you have Halo 1 through 4, so who cares? Like, I'm not saying it like that. I'm just saying that because this is free, to me, it's one of those things where, like, I came here kind of with the same mindset I have.
You came here expecting mediocrity, and that's what you got?
Well, no, I just expected, like, a fun distraction.
Yeah.
And, like, yeah, it's not Metal Gear Solid. Yeah, it's not going to be Silent Hill. It's not going to be Final Fantasy. But it's fun to play as these characters and see, like, a different universe take on them and have an interactive world where you do power up.
As them, yeah.
Yeah, and power up the character over time and learn some new moves and stuff like that. And, you know, you'll have your things you like about it and your things you don't, and that's just kind of,
Can I see his super?
Yeah, it was this thing. He does like a web ball and he smashes it down.
Oh.
I think you can level it up over time. But
Thor's is cooler.
Yeah, it is.